All right, how you guys doing today? We about to hop into the review of Proverbs chapter 17, the second part of that though. But first things first, I just want to make sure y'all like that video up, hit a like, it's full screen, scroll a bit, like it, full screen it back up. You feel me? So I even had to do some research. It's been 6 days since we've been back in Proverbs, so it's about to get big. All right, so last we talked was the children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers, right? And then yesterday was Easter. I went back home. I saw my dad, my grandpa, my grandma, other side too, and everything. And my dad was he was on the phone with his sister, right, my aunt, and he had the great grandkids, well, my grandma's great grandkids on the phone. And they was all happy, whatever. She was showing me them. I was seeing them. My brother was seeing them. Everybody was seeing them. And my dad's like, "See," and that's good right there. That's making their grandma happy that they're staying with their grandma. They're getting, they're there. They're happy. All that type of stuff. And I was like, "Well, I sent you that verse because I sent my dad this verse when I seen it. That children's children are the crown of old men, but even of old women, right?" My great grandma or my bad, my grandma is a great grandma, and my aunt is a grandma now, and they both love the heck out of them little girls, bro. And it's just like you can tell that that's the crown of them, right? And the glory of them are their fathers or their parents or whatever the case is, right? That next step up in the lineage, right? So my cousin, he's their dad, that's their crown, right? Or maybe it's their mom because it's girls, I don't know, but you get the point. And it was just kind of a beautiful thing to see because we had just read this and then I got to see it in real life, technically over the phone on FaceTime, but you get the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, excellent speech becomes not a fool, much less do lying lips a prince. But if you're speaking well, chances are you're not going to be stupid because not only is your speech well, which means you're good to do well. You know how to do well in something, you know how to excel in something, so you can turn that into another avenue, right? But lying lips don't really come into a prince. Now we see that different nowadays, right? All the people in high power, they just be lying, right? Yeah, what's that saying? You ain't never seen a politician that hasn't lied. Just it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? A gift is a precious stone in the eyes of him that has it. Whithersoever it turns, it prospers. And this is talking about bribes, right? A bribe is a bright, precious stone in the eyes of his owner. Wherever he turns, he prospers. And you would think that this is saying something he said in the sermon. That you think this is saying bribes are good, right? A bribe is bright. It's a precious stone in the eyes of his owner. Whoever is bribing somebody, they're happy. Because whatever he turns, he gets, right? Whatever he gives them, he's going to get whatever he wants back. Basically saying, yo, bribes be working. But firstly, this is not a promise, right? Book of Proverbs is not only about observations, but just general wisdom. So observation, bribes get what you want. Subclass, wisdom, kind of, bribes get you what you want. But that doesn't mean it's good, because when you bribe something, right, chances are it's out of your grasp. You have to bribe something when you can't obtain it by normal means. By that logic, it's not in God's plan to give it to you. However, you're going against the natural means of, oh, this thing is closed off from me. Technically, right? You can argue with money, it's not closed off from you, but chances are it was closed off to you. You had to pull out the money to say, no, I'm gonna open this door for myself. And you pull out the money, you offer your bribe, and you're like, ha, I got it. This must be God's plan. However, that's not, because God said this is a no for you, right? He said it's a no. But what you're doing when you turn to bribes is you're trying to put things in your own power instead of in the power of God, right? You're stop leaning on the Holy Spirit to say, help me get through this time period with patience, Lord, to see that it's your plan that I don't get what I think I want, and to see what you have planned for me. However, you say, bump that noise and I'm gonna make it happen, and then you make it happen, and then it's trusting in yourself, not the Lord. So what this can do is this can lead to a habitual cycle, because the more you trust in yourself, the harder it gets to trust in God, right? That's how cycle or habits are built up, right? It takes 21 days, they say, to build a habit, and it only takes like 3 days to get rid of it. But the longer you do something, the more tolerance you build up to make it, right? So you have that cycle of trusting on the Lord. The weirder it's gonna feel when you try to not trust in the Lord, right? It just feels weird. I deal with this myself, right? I'll get so overcome by emotions that I'll act out, and then not act out like that. Like, I'm not really a very expressive, angry person like that. But, I know when to walk away. I know when things are too much. I know when to not speak. And then when I'm dwelling in my anger, I'll realize, hold on, pause, Lord, I'm dwelling in my anger. Please take this away from me. And obviously, that's not an instantaneous thing. You don't just say, Lord, please take this anger away from me. You're like, loving my enemies right now, praying for my enemies right now. This is not how that happens. But I can say that it gets my mind back where it needs to go. It's a grounding presence for my mind to say, hey, we're up here. Think about God, bring it back to down here. We got to chill out. And then that sets the tone because I'm trusting God. So it sets the tone of, hey, we're going back on a steep hill. We was on the incline. We took a turn. We're descending on that peak again, right? Because now God's fresh in my mind, and I'm thinking, God doesn't want me acting like this. How can I seek out God and make myself calm down, right? And while my heart rate might not be high, you know your tensions are. And this happened like about a week ago. And I realized I was so mad and all that. And then I was just like, God, let me cool off. Take this away from me. This ain't me right now. This is my flesh acting out. This ain't you and me. Help me out. And obviously, like I said, wasn't instantaneous, but overall it did help because I very easily could have just kept dwelling in that, right? I have problems. We all have problems. I have problems with the instance that occurred, and it just made me very mad. I don't really get mad like that. So when I get mad, it's like, it's tough. And I don't like it. But anyway, you get the point. He that covers a transgression seeks love, but he that repeats a matter separates his very friends. And I think that's referring to keeping a secret. Yeah, who repeats a matter separates him. He who covers and forgives an offense seeks love, right? And we see that verse in Matthew. Bring your problems before your brother alone. If he doesn't forgive you, bring him before 2 or 3 brothers. If he don't forgive you, bring him before the church. If he don't forgive you, you lost a brother. He can still come back, but you lost a brother. So therefore, if you bring it to your brother, cover it and seek love, forgive, and all that, you got your friend. But if you're spilling it out just to spill it out and you ain't forgiving and everything, chop. And this is, he said, another way that you can see doing things in your own way, because there was bribes, but there's this, right? How I just said, you're chopping off that friend by repeating the matters and all that stuff. He was like, when you're trying to do stuff in your own way, you got a bad person in your life, you could just say, I'm cutting them out of my life. But the Lord wouldn't have you do that. The Lord would have you forgive them and try to turn them from an enemy to a friend, or an enemy to a neighbor at the least, right? Somebody who at least you don't, see and are like, oh, that guy. Or you're like, oh, don't look at me, no eye contact, don't say anything, don't say hi to me, I'm not having a good morning, I don't want to say hi to you, I'm not doing okay because you're next to me. He doesn't want that for you. So cutting off people, that's the easy way. But really what we need is that hard trials. And that's what it goes back to with the refining pot and the furnace, right? Blending or burning out those impurities. Same way with this, right? We get those tough situations. We got to trust on God, because God's going to put us in that furnace and he's just going to watch us. He's going to put it behind that glass. He's just going to be like, yep, look at all them impurities burning out, right? He saw me angry and he saw me trust on him for the anger. He saw the anger leaving me, the impurities banging away or burning away. And he's like, yep, that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. Pull me out, new creation type thing. Yeah, man. This one's pretty funny. Reproof enters a wise man than 100 stripes, or enters more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. A wise man is gonna get more correction than a fool is gonna get 100 beatings, right? Reprimand goes deeper into the one that has understanding and a teachable spirit than 100 lashes into a fool. And I like the way that says, right? The reprimand goes deeper into the one who has understanding, right? He's gonna take it down deeper. Somebody just gets beat 100 times, because the guy who gets beat 100 times is gonna say, pain is temporary. I can just get beat again. I do the same dang thing. Not anything change. An evil man seeks only rebellion. Therefore, a cruel messenger shall be sent against him, right? Evil man, they only want strife. They only want badness. Therefore, cruel messengers shall be sent against him to deliver him into the hands of something greater, right? A cruel messenger, it's not really an elaboration, but I think we all get the gist of what's kind of being said. Let a bear rob the for whelps meet a man, rather than a fool in his folly. And he said, he gave this detailed example. He was like, we was backed up on the roads and like wherever they was visiting, Minnesota, whatever. And then the park rangers, they seen up front as the roads are blocked and like they're not blocked, but the traffic's so heavy and they're driving by, and the park rangers like, oh yeah, you look over there, you see it, and it's just a bear with the cubs. And he's like, no point in my right mind would I have ever thought seeing a bear with the cubs. Let me get closer to that. But we see every day normal people looking at some stupid people with some dumb intentions, going like, yeah, bro, let me hop over there, let me go do that with you, like, and you're thinking, the Bible is saying, King Solomon, the wisest man on the planet ever, is saying, I'd rather you go meet a mother bear who got her kids snatched from her than a dumb dude about to do some dumb things. I'd rather you go meet a bear with her cubs that got snatched from her than go to a stupid dude with some stupid decisions. A bear. Would you rather be in the forest with a man or a bear? Well, if the man's got a stupid decision, I'd rather pick the bear, according to Solomon. Whoso rewards evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. Reap what you sow, right? If you praising evil, you should not be surprised when you keep getting evil. The beginning of strife is as one who lets out water. Therefore, lay off contention and be metal with it. The beginning of strife, so contention or arguments, disagreements, the beginning of that is like letting out of water, is a small break in a dam. First it trickles, then it gushes. Therefore, the ancient rabbis derive this statement from the principle of seeking a settlement before a case comes to court. That's nice to know. Therefore, abandon the quarrel before it breaks out and tempers and explodes, right? You see a little leak or a little crack in your windshield. What do? You got to get it replaced before that crack becomes a fissure. Fissure, right? A bigger crack. And before that crack becomes a crevice or becomes the Grand Canyon in your windshield. You get the point I'm trying to make, right? Or just a little small leak, you get that drip, 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 and then it becomes drip, 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 and then it becomes a constant stream, and then your ceilings bust open, and then your house is flooded. Or your basement flooded. Whatever you got that got flooded, you understand what I'm saying. Same way Jesus taught us, forgive one another lest you not be forgiven by your Father who's in heaven. Same way he said, if you got a gift on the altar, but you have contention with one of your brothers, go forgive your brother, then come back to the altar and give your gift. Right? We care about forgiveness. He that justifies the wicked, he that condemns the just, even they both are an abomination to the Lord. If you exonerate the wicked man and you put in jail the righteous man, Lord ain't like you. Wherefore is there a price on the hand of the fool to get wisdom, seeing he has no heart to it? I think wherefore means for what reason. So for what reason is there a price in the hand of the fool to get wisdom? He trying to buy his wisdom, but his heart ain't gonna let him. I think it's saying, right? Why is there money in the hand to buy wisdom? There's no common sense or even a heart for it, right? That's like saying, bro, why are you trying to buy, or you heard that 21 Savage lyric, like, why you got a 12-car garage, you only got 6 cars, right? Why you trying to buy a 12-car garage when you don't even own a car? Why are you trying to buy a car when you don't have a garage? Why do you want to buy a phone case when you don't have a phone? Why do you want to buy a house when you don't even have a bed to put in the house? That's a stretch, but you get the point. Why you need wisdom if you don't have the heart for it? Same way we look at all these channels, bro. All these channels, all these like men teaching young men channels. They understand what it is to be a man. So I gotta say, right, they're a little bit older, and olderness comes with some wisdom. That's cool. But half of the videos they come out with revolve around young men and women and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, yo, because they're speaking to the young Christians, and I'm like, do we have nothing better to focus on than women? Because I was going to say, you looking for a wife when you don't have the heart for it. And I don't think it's ridiculous to say that. However, all these channels that just be pushing that, bro. It's just everything. How do you know you're ready for a wife? Red flags you see in your wife. How to find a biblical wife. It's like, broski, what? Are you even a biblical man? First and foremost. Feel me? But it's like every video. That's the point I was trying to make. It's like every video. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a little bit crazy to me because I'm a young man, right? I'm 20 years old. I'm not married. These dudes, they married, they got girls or whatever the case may be, and they're just like, this is for the younger kids. And it's like, it's really just patience. When you really think about it, if the Lord got somebody for you, it's really just patience. It's really just patience. But you got to have the heart to be open to patience, because hey, you may be waiting till you're 30. You may be waiting till you're 40. You may be waiting till you're 50. Maybe even 60. You may be waiting till you're dead. You might not even get a wife. But what you can't get is some patience. Amen. Amen. All right. That's going to be the end of the video. Hope you guys have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.